Okay, hi everyone. Welcome everyone on Instagram. My name is Colin, and I'm coming to you here from Brock University. It's a beautiful spring day, and it's the end of exams, and I'm here with my friend Marcelo. Marcel is one of our many international students at Brock University, and the two of us are here today to talk a little bit about, really about everything, about what you can expect as an international student at Brock University, student experiences, academic experience, and we're also, since we are going live, we are set to take questions from anyone who is watching. So if any of you are watching out there and would like to ask a question, we'll definitely answer those throughout the next 15 to 20 minutes. But first of all, for those of you who don't know much about Brock University, we are here in the beautiful Niagara region, in the city of St. Catharines, which is the largest city in the Niagara region, about 20 minutes from Niagara Falls, which I'm sure most people know about, and only about an hour, just over an hour drive to the Toronto area. So it's just a great location, a great place to live and study. But I'm going to pass it over to Marcelo. Marcel is one of our international students, as I mentioned. So I'm going to get Marcel to talk a little bit about his experience and why he chose to come to Brock University.
Okay, so thank you, Colin. So hi, everyone. My name is Marcelo Correia. I'm from Indaiatuba, Brazil. It's a kind of complicated name for a city. So it's in the state of São Paulo. I just finished my third year as a biotechnology student. Actually, I wrote my last exam yesterday. I'm really happy to be on summer vacation right now. And yeah, it's been an amazing time here in Canada. I'm about to complete 3 years here. And it's been a wonderful time, full of wonderful experiences.
Awesome. Yeah, so as Marcel mentioned, he's from Brazil, and we have students coming from over 100 different countries. So there's a lot of great diversity here at Brock University for international students. We have students from Asia, from Latin America, from Africa, from Europe, all over. And that we continue to become more diverse every year, and just we have more international students every year as the popularity of Brock University grows. So it's such a great experience for me working here to get to work with these international students in their roles. But I think what I want to talk about next, Marcel mentioned he's an international student, but what he didn't mention is that he also has a really cool, really interesting role as an international ambassador. And I want to get, so Marcel, if you could a little bit more about that position, how you got the position and what is involved in that scholarship.
Okay, so the International Student Ambassador Program is a kind of new program at Brock. It's finishing its second year right now, and I would say it's one of the best programs. So every year, about 10 international students, undergrad or grad students, are chosen to represent Brock. So they're thought of as students who can represent the spirit of Brock in many activities. So we represent Brock during events, for example, when we are welcoming international students who are coming to Brock, or when we're promoting events, for example, to showcase the international community that we have at Brock to all the Brock community. And we also participate in marketing campaigns. So it's really cool. We get to know a lot of people, a lot of international students, to connect with them. We make some amazing friends. And there's a really good benefit out of this, is that instead of paying international fees, we pay domestic fees, which is a great relief on the financial burden of tuition and everything else.
Yeah, pretty big incentive
it's amazing.
Yeah, so that's something that's really important to know. At Brock University, we do understand that university tuition can be expensive. So we created this scholarship to help some students, about 10 to 15 students every year, to pay Canadian tuition so that they have a pretty significant reduction in their tuition fees. And for that reduction, for that scholarship, we see a huge benefit to the quality of experience for international students through the work that they do as ambassadors. So if any of you are out there, now I should mention this for the 2019-2020 year, our applications have just closed. So we're actually almost going to send out notifications to next year's ambassadors. But if you are a future student that may want to apply, that scholarship will be available every year. And as I think Marcel mentioned, it's available for both incoming applicants as well as current Brock International students. So if any current Brock International students are connecting with us today, make sure you apply in the future, because we're looking for students from all different countries with different experiences in their time here at Brock University. So that's just one example of scholarships that we offer. There are other international scholarships based on academics, based on specific international curriculums. So, Brock University does a really good job of having scholarship opportunities available. So just make sure if you're applying to Brock, you check out those opportunities on our website and talk with your recruitment contact here in our office. But Marcelo, since we are almost done with this academic school, you mentioned you had end of exams. You had how did your exam go yesterday?
It was good. It was tiring as every exam, but it was really well, and I'm glad it's done.
That's right. It's always a big relief when you get to the end of the year. But if you could talk a little bit more about, what has your academic experience been like throughout the year? Because certainly we have a huge variety of programs in the arts and sciences. Marcelo, you're in the biotechnology program.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about what an exam or what an academic experience is like, and what kind of different educational experiences you have in your courses here.
So in a science-based program like biotechnology, I like the fact that it's very practical. Mm-hmm. So of course we have the lectures where we learn the theory behind everything, and there's a lot of theory, as I assume for every program or most of the programs. But we have a lot of hands-on. I have a lot of opportunities to go to the lab and to learn the basic techniques that we use in our research, mm-hmm. or we use in the industrial field or something like that. So I like this fact. And not only that we have the lectures, the labs, but we also have tutorials. So on top of having the lecture where, the professors there teaching, 200, 300 students, depending on your class and which year you are in. We also have tutorials with either master students or PhD students who mm-hmm. are teaching assistants. And it's a smaller size of a class. So we get more of this one-to-one attention or individual attention when, for example, I didn't understand a concept and then a TA in the tutorial or seminar explains to us the same concept. So it's nice to have this second point of view on the same topic. So it has made a big difference to me in terms of understanding the concepts, mm-hmm. and also getting hands-on practice that helped me to do research and to work in the industrial lab.
That's great. Yeah, your experience is something that I hear a lot from our students. Even when I was a student, we always have had this commitment at Brock University to ensuring small class experiences. So maybe even if you have a larger class with a lecture component where you have 100 or 200 students, there's always that small seminar, or in your case, laboratory experience, yes. in a science program where you're getting that small class attention and attention from the professor or a teaching assistant or a PhD student. Now, when I was, it's been a while since I was a student, but I was a music student and was in the arts. So in a lot of my courses, it was called a seminar, but similar concept. You'd have 20 students or less, and it's a lot of discussion-based activities, presentations, debate, and activities. And we really think that's important at Brock University. So you're not just spending all of your time sitting and listening, because there's different ways to learn, and we think that group discussion and those laboratory discussions are really part of that.
It's amazing. If I may add something, because of the smaller size in seminars and tutorials or labs, it's really funny how I've made so many friends mm-hmm. in this, lab tutorials and stuff, because it's smaller. So it's really common that I'm walking on the hallway and we're just like, oh, hi, you're in my tutorial of whatever course,
sure.
So it's really nice. And I actually met one of my best friends. She's also from Brazil, mm-hmm. and she had come to Canada a long time ago. I didn't know her from back home, but we happened to be in the same biology lab. Mm-hmm. We met each other, and today we're best friends. And
amazing.
That was one of the best parts.
Well, let's go off of that, because I'm guessing since you came from Brazil, did you know anyone else when you came to Brock?
I knew one guy here who was in the volleyball team as well.
Right.
So he helped me to come here. But other than that, I didn't know anyone.
So how has it been, getting to know other students, both international Canadian students, when you came knowing almost no one, only that one other friend?
It was super easy, and that's again one of the main points, the points that I most like about Brock, because it's a medium-sized university, so it's not too big or not too small. And then we're always getting to know people, and there are so many events, both organized by Brock International and our Students Union, and both of them do a great job in like promoting events to get this connection between students. I met friends at the international orientation that happens every year for every international student who comes here, and they're my friends until today.
That's
Like
great.
sometimes I don't talk to them in the first year, but then when I get to see them run into them in the future, it was just like, I remember from my orientation, and like we get to talk and stuff, and it's been amazing. I've never felt, of course, sometimes I feel homesick because I miss my parents and
Yeah.
stuff. But I've made so many friends here, and that helped a lot. That helped so much. And as any experience, the friends and connections you make will always be the best thing you can take from any experience you have.
That's great. And it's somewhat, I mean, of course, I grew up in Canada, and I only, I grew up about an hour and a half from here. But similarly, there was only one other student from my high school who came to Brock. So it's, your experience, I've heard that story over and over again of, coming to Brock, not knowing many people, and being able to build friendships and connections very easily. And I think both the community style of the university, and even the physical layout of the university, it really draws people to the main hallways, especially in the colder months when people don't want to walk outside, and they can, or they're always traveling through our indoor hallways. And that's where you're seeing people from your classrooms, your tutorials, from residents. So that's your story reminds me of stories I've heard a lot before, which is that easy opportunity to make friends at Brock. Now I know through working with you as an international ambassador that you're a member of the varsity volleyball team.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is something that's going to be very different because I was not much of an athlete here at Brock. So how about you talk to us a little bit about that experience? How do you go about balance? Well, I guess maybe the first question is, how did you get onto the team, and how do you go about balancing that balance of varsity athletics with a full course schedule?
Okay, so first, I was in Brazil, and then I was looking for some teams to play, some universities actually to play in North America. I had heard about the league in the United States, which is really famous and traditional around the world. And I was first looking to come to the United States, to go to the United States to study. But then I had this friend who was here. He's also from Brazil. We had played against each other back home. And he told me, you know what, Marcelo, we are starting a volleyball program here at Brock University in Canada. It's such a beautiful place, great location, not a big city, so your costs will be reduced a lot. So that was something that I really considered when I came to here. And the exchange was better. The Canadian dollar is cheaper than the American dollar.
Right.
And then I was just like, you know what, I'm coming to Canada. And then I talked to the coach, and then I was really lucky, I could say, because they were starting the volleyball program. So they were trying to recruit players here and there. And then I contacted him, and then I came here, and it's been just amazing. And then the second question you asked me is how I balance everything.
It can be a really busy schedule.
It is very busy. So we have a full great support, both from International Center, that offers us many workshops and many individual attention to tutoring, this kind of stuff. And I also happen to have the same services from Brock Sports. So they offer tutoring for athletes as well, which is amazing. We have one person responsible only to provide services for student athletes. So if we're struggling in school or something like that, this person is always there for us. We are advised to not take 5 credits every year, so we take 4 credits just so it's more manageable. And you just get used to it. Our coach is also really flexible in terms of school, because that's our first point, our main focus here. So it's fantastic. It's busy, but it's fantastic.
That's you know what it's. So certainly I've interacted with many varsity athletes over the years, and I've seen the focus of academics, from our coaches. It's not, although we do have a huge athletic program, and I think that's something I want to mention. Brock University has one of the largest athletic programs in Canada. From all sports, we're very well known for rowing and wrestling, but everything: basketball, volleyball, hockey, rugby, lacrosse. So that's a big part of our our community and our culture here. But I always do hear that the coaches are always make sure those students are focused on their academics. Yeah, if you want to play, you have to keep your grades up. So now the other thing you mentioned that I want to come back to is actually you mentioned about the cost. Part of your decision was about the cost of living, and I think that's something that's important for everyone to know. Brock University has similar cost of tuition to other medium-sized universities in Ontario, but the cost of living outside of that is quite low. Although we're only just over an hour away from Toronto, especially when it comes to rent and off-campus housing, you can save a lot of money by coming to study at Brock. Because as an example, if a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto, it can cost more. Well, actually, a one-bedroom apartment could probably cost $1,200-$1,300 at least. You could save about half that much by living in Niagara or living in St. Catharines. So that's just one example. There are other living costs as well, but I've heard many students say that more and more, I would say every year, that more international students are looking at Brock as a good option where they can get a great education. Yeah. So that's something for everyone to consider. Oh, yeah. All right, we have a question that's two questions. All right, that's come into us from the audience. Okay, so our first question is, how many ambassadors receive a scholarship every year? Well, I feel like as an ambassador, you can handle this one. So why don't you tackle that?
So it's usually 10 to 15 ambassadors every year, right? Mm-hmm. It changes a little bit, but yeah, that's usually how it is. 10 to 15 international students who are chosen.
Yeah, and we do base the number on the quality of the applications that come forward, as well as the diversity of the students. We certainly want students from different countries throughout the world, as well as from different years of study at Brock, because we really want to promote the full experience to prospective students to help with our recruitment campaigns and our promotion of the university. So yeah, about 10 to 15. And you know what I always say, you might as well spend the time to fill out the application. I know a lot of people worry about how many people apply and how many spots there are. You never know. Okay, you might as well fill it out. And even if you don't get it in your first year, but you choose to come to Brock, as we mentioned, you can apply for that ambassador scholarship in your second year and third year and fourth year as well. And actually, I would say sometimes as you build more of experience at Brock, you have more to talk about, so you can be a better ambassador. So that's something to consider as well.
Absolutely. And if I also may add something.
Sure. Yeah. Of course.
What you said about building better experiences to be a better ambassador. So the application is much focused on our volunteer and community services. So what we do and how we are engaged here with the Brock community. Mm-hmm. So the more stuff we have in this sense, the better it is, the more chances we have to become an ambassador. So it's definitely apply as many times as you want, and it's definitely an amazing experience.
Awesome. Okay. And we have our second question, which focuses a little bit more on the combination of academics and then future work experience. So I think I have a couple ideas, but you may have some more since you're directly in the program. So the question is, what kind of future job opportunities are there for students who are studying in biotechnology? And what kind of demand is there in the job market? So I'll maybe throw to you initially. What are you hearing from your professors, and what kind of experiences do you have that will help you when you're looking for jobs?
Okay, so it's a pretty vast field as a science field. At first, I came here, in my first 2 years, I was registered in biochemistry, but I liked a little bit more the courses that I had in biotechnology. What I focus now in my future would be working for a company that produces items that we use in the lab, so lab items that we use for research and this kind of stuff. And it's really cool because I thought that these companies, as I heard from many people, would only be in Toronto area and stuff, but I just found out that there is a company that produces that right across the road. So it's right here. There's another company in St. Catharines that works with mosquitoes, and then we do molecular analysis, so DNA analysis for mosquitoes. In this, they do all over Ontario, but the company is here, so that's something else that I could be doing, molecular analysis for labs. So there's a lot of lab-based work that I could be doing, that I have done already. There are opportunities for research. So I've found like many job offers, not to me actually, but like job postings actually. For research lab. So you can work on pharmaceutical industry. You can actually use the courses that you take in biotechnology, biomedical sciences, biochemistry as your prereqs if you want to apply to med school, pharmacy school, dentistry. So there's a lot of options.
Okay, that's great. And I think the other thing I was going to add, I'm glad you mentioned about pharmaceutical, because I certainly know previous students in biotechnology have gone on to careers in the pharmaceutical industry with creating or producing new drugs or current drugs. But I know even a more recent story was about using biotechnology for product innovation. But I'm sure there are many people who know about all the huge issues we have with plastic in our oceans. There's a lot of people who are working on to create new products that are used with biodegradable materials to replace some of the plastic products we're using. And students in biotechnology learn the great laboratory skills, and they have some of the knowledge to be able to be those product innovators and work in those companies that are solving real world problems. So there are a lot of different ways that you can kind of take your skills from the laboratory experience in those laboratory components of the courses and use that in different careers.
May I just add something really important that I forgot? Wine industry, it's huge in Niagara. So I actually changed from biochemistry to biotechnology to get a little bit more insight into bioreactors. So wine industry, cheese making, beer making, all of these fields are excellent fields for a biotechnology undergrad.
Yes, and if we have time, we might come back and talk about our wine program at the end. Okay, I think we have a third question. This is great. The more questions, the better. We want to answer the questions that are interesting to you. So the question is, which master's courses in biotechnology do you have, and how do you apply? Okay, now this is quite a specific question.
Yes.
I will go to you because I'm not, and if you don't know the answer, that's okay. Because I could certainly talk more broadly about how students can find that information if we don't know the answer. But I'm not sure how much connection you have with the master's level courses or those master students and the PhD students.
As far as I know, I may be wrong, but all of this information can be found on Brock University website, the grad programs. If I'm not wrong, there are 2 streams for biotechnology. One is genetics, and I wouldn't be sure of the second one. But I know biotechnology undergrads who have gone to chemistry master degrees.
Yes.
Because we have so many chemistry courses that, it's just a matter of having 1 or 2 extra courses and you're able to do a master in chemistry. But if I'm not wrong, there are 2 streams in biotechnology.
Yeah. So since this is quite a specific question, we don't know all the courses and all the programs, but it's great that there's this very specific interest. We really do encourage you to check out our online website because the graduate portal or the graduate page is very well laid out with the specific requirements for applying as well as the course layout for the program. I would clarify that most of our graduate programs are 2-year research programs. So the first year you would have a series of courses and you're developing your research project, your thesis, your big question. And then the second year you're typically focusing on independent research using the laboratory equipment, working one-on-one with your faculty supervisor, with your professor. So I encourage you to go on the website, www.brocky.ca, and search the graduate programs, and then you can find out all the courses and see if there's the course content that you like. And you can also see we have faculty profiles for each professor, so you can learn about sort of what our professors specialize in, what their main focus of research is, and that way you can decide which professor would be really good to work with based on your interests and your future, your goals, what you want to get out of the master's program. Okay. Now, and I want to come back and talk about the undergrad program in a second, but I think we have one more. Do we have another question here? Okay. Let's go to it. So the question is, can I study abroad as an international student? And what countries do you have partnerships with? Okay. So the answer is absolutely yes. So even though as an international student, you're coming here and getting international experience being in Canada, you still have the opportunity to apply to go on exchange or study abroad. We have partnerships with 40 plus countries, over 60 different institutions throughout the world. Students go to Australia, United States, United Kingdom. We've had students go to Asia, to Latin America. It really depends on where you want to go and also what languages you speak. Of course, if you speak a language, a third language potentially beyond English, that may open up other countries because you might go to a school where they have a curriculum in a different language. But I would say that a lot of students go to another English-speaking institution so they can continue to work on their English and get a third international, or an additional international experience. So we really encourage that. The government of Canada is placing a great amount of focus on that in the upcoming years to have more international experiences for students through study abroad. And I would say most students do their study abroad in their third year, typically in their first term, but sometimes students will do 2 terms. We'll do a full year of study abroad. So if you are interested in that, if you come to Brock, make sure you come to the International Center here and check out our study abroad opportunities so you know the requirements for applying.
And if I'm not wrong, I actually have a question about that. I think it's in terms of financial, we pay the same tuition we'd be paying to Brock, and then we just go to the other institution, right? That's how it works?
That's exactly right. Yeah, so it's not like you'd have to pay extra. You pay tuition to Brock, and then we facilitate the payment between Brock University and the partnership university, wherever you're going in the world. Yeah.
Perfect.
I did want to come back to, because something I've connected to work experiences, because I know you're taking biotechnology, but now just to clarify, you're not taking the co-op program, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay. I do want to touch on co-op because Brock University is very well known for our strong co-op presence and our sort of prestige in this area in the province. If you're not familiar with the co-op program is a program where you have paid work experiences integrated in your degree to offer that really great hands-on experience in a working position where you're getting paid, and you get to apply the knowledge and the skills that you're learning in your courses to a real world life experience in that position. So I know you're not in the co-op program, but we do offer biotechnology co-op in the biotechnology program, and we offer co-op in almost half of our undergraduate programs, over 30 undergraduate programs. So if co-op is available in a subject that is of interest to you, we definitely encourage you to apply for those co-op programs so you can get that work experience. Okay, another question. This is great. The more the better.
Oh, yeah.
So we have the question here. Does the international office offer internships or job opportunities for international students? Okay. So I guess, yes, definitely the shorter answer is yes. We have some students working at our help desk. We have some students helping with phone campaigns, with marketing campaigns. We have some students who help us out doing helping out with our open house days. And I should clarify that jobs on campus it's not just through the International Center. There are over 1,000 student jobs on and off campus. And we have an office called Career Zone. So any student, whether Canadian or international, can access the Career Zone and sort of search the job opportunities that are available on or off campus. And I should make sure it's clear that if you are an international student in Canada at Brock University or at any university or college, you can work on or off campus up to 20 hours per week while you're studying full time. So we have many students, international students, working in our food service. Students are always hungry. There's lots of food service jobs on campus.
I'm one of those.
So yeah, especially the student athletes. But even in recreation, something we didn't talk about, we talked about the varsity athletic program. We did not talk about our large intramural sort of non-competitive recreational sport program. So there are student jobs available in refereeing and referees for all the different sports, working at we call the cage, which is our equipment room. So if you are looking to get a job experience while you're a student, just make sure you start early in the search process and connect with our Career Zone. And you can actually do that online from your home country ahead of time. And if you come here, you could also go in person to get help with your resume, with your cover letter, to get help with interview preparation and interview skills, so that hopefully you're a really good candidate. But yeah, certainly the short answer is yes, and we really encourage international students to pursue those job opportunities as long as they're balancing that with their academic schedule. Yeah. So I'm not seeing any more questions, but I just want to thank everyone for tuning in. We'll be continuing to do these live streams throughout the year, talking about different programs with our different other ambassadors. So I guess the final thing we want to say is just get to know us a little bit more. Brock University is such a great place to study, and it's such a great place to work and live. Go to check us out at brocku.ca/international to explore all the different programs at undergraduate level, graduate level, and really understand the full experiences that you can achieve here at Brock and be a part of. Because we'd love to have you join us at some point in the future. Yeah. Anything else for you, Marcelo? Anything else you want to add?
Just about the jobs, if I may add something, I was able to find job in my first year here as soon as I came. I was not comfortable with the language, although I spoke English a little bit back home, but not too much. But that has never been a big problem for me. I was able to find jobs in the recreational center.
Oh, good.
Nowadays I work at the university, the Students' Union. So it's really
you're a busy guy.
Yes, it's open to everybody, and I definitely recommend that. It's another way, a great way for you to make connections with new people.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Well, we want to thank you all for coming, and please tune in again in our future Instagram live sessions, and we hope to see many of you coming to Brock University. Have a great day.
Thank you.